All right, Anthony on Air podcast. Jay Sabs is here with us. Queen of the 90s, I like to call her. You like that?
Thank you so much.
And today we are looking at this list that Pop Sugar put out, which is 375 things you'll remember if you grew up in the 90s. I don't know if we're going to have time to get to all 375 things, Janine.
Maybe
But
300.
yeah, well, we'll try and get to as many as we can. 90s greatest generation ever to exist, maybe, I think. Possibly.
Ever.
Yeah. It's that weird, we are in that interesting age group where we remember what the world was like pre-internet.
Right.
We're the last generation to exist in a pre-internet world, and then we're also kind of like young enough to kind of get in on the internet stuff and do that whole thing too.
That's kind of crazy, right?
It really is crazy when you think back at what the world was like before the internet. Like, it is kind of downright nuts.
Like, what did we do? Play spin the bottle.
We
7 minutes in heaven.
a lot of
Titanic only needed two.
I like you taking a shot at your husband right off the bat. That makes me happy.
That's it.
Bring Gaetano down.
I met him in the 90s, so
You did?
1996.
96, you started dating your husband. Dear Lord.
No, I met him in 96. We started dating in 98.
Oh, okay. And how old were you guys when this was happening?
I met him when I was almost 13. And then I
Wow.
started dating him as soon as I turned 16.
Oh my God.
I know, it's so disgusting. Blech!
I don't even know if that stuff exists anymore.
No.
And that's the other thing too. Dating nowadays, it's all online. It's all, can you, right? It all starts with online, really.
What are
when
you wearing?
Yeah. Be careful of the Chris Delias out there, ladies. Watch out for the Chris Delias of the world. Okay, I don't remember this one. I mean, maybe I do. Baby G watches?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that just looks like a regular watch to me. I don't really remember that being a big thing. Disney perfume princesses.
I wasn't into Disney, so I wouldn't know.
Neither was I, really. Little Miss Magic Jewels. I don't remember.
No.
Number 4, and this is the Pop Sugar list. Number 4, I remember, and I don't know why to this day I will still on
Me too.
occasion
Me too.
draw this stupid S.
I used to do that all the time.
Why? Where did this come from?
Why?
How did it start?
Right.
Why are we so obsessed with it?
I don't know.
This was all the rage in school. You used to draw 3 lines, and then you would
Right.
draw 3 lines underneath, and then you would
Connect
start
them.
connecting all the lines together. Frig. I don't remember why that was, and it still sticks in my brain, like every now and then, like a friggin', like,
It's like the same level as me wanting to be kidnapped. I just don't know why.
you can't understand the logic, but you know it's true. It's
No.
all sound.
Right.
It checks out. Yeah, it's like a weird matrixy glitch thing. Well, I'll just be like doodling, and then all of a sudden do this, and I'll just be taken right back to friggin' 7th
Exactly.
grade. I don't remember Sassy Magazine. Do you?
No.
I have a feeling a lot of these things are sort of regional. I don't even know what butterfly clips. Oh, I guess in the hair. Butterfly clips?
Yes.
Was that a
Yes,
thing
I did
for the
that.
girls?
Definitely. Oh God.
All right, I don't know if this is a 90s thing. I feel like this is just a childhood thing no matter when. I feel like these
Oh,
are
those are the best.
the little just sugar in a thing and you just freeze them. And
So good.
now you see them in Target. They're like $4 for like 700. You're like, oh my God.
Maybe I should buy that.
I should buy that and get some rum in there.
Right.
Huge part of the latter 90s. In sync, the boy bands.
I wasn't so into them.
No?
Like, no. I'm telling you, I like Blink-182 better.
That's right. We forgot. We talked
I liked NSYNC better than Backstreet Boys, but I wasn't crazy.
There was a time where just I could not get away from the boy band. Like every girl I talked to was into the boy bands.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, and this was in the heyday of MTV. Remember, and Carson Daly and
TRL Live.
oh
Yep.
my God, TRL. Did you ever go to TRL?
Yes, I did. Of
You
course
did?
I did. When Blink-182 was there.
Do you feel better this episode that Frank's not here? You could be your Blink-182 self and
A little bit.
yeah, everybody. I never went to TRL, but everybody I know
Went there.
went. Yeah,
It was like the hardest thing to get into. I don't understand why.
yeah. And it was like you had to. Didn't they tape it like right after school or just like at 3 o'clock or something? So it was like
I believe they taped it live at 3 p.m.
yeah. So you had to like blow off school or
I did.
It had to be like a day off kind of a thing. You blew off school just to go.
Yes. You're gonna laugh. I met Blink-182 that morning, and then they were going to be on the afternoon at TRL. So all of us took the train at 4 o'clock in the morning, lined up. What was that big record store over there?
Was it Virgin in Times Square?
I believe so. You're right. Lined up and met all of them.
So you so like they were going into play and you lined up outside just to kind of meet them?
Yep.
That's hysterical.
I know.
I had this.
I'll show you pictures of that day. I still have them.
I remember I went to go see Weezer at that record store, and we got there like super late, and we couldn't really see them. We were like on because it was like 4 levels, and they were playing like on the bottom level, and it was so funny because I went outside to make a phone call. And I just found myself at the artist entrance, and this limo pulls up, and out comes Weezer, and they walk right by me.
Oh, how great!
I'm totally totally by myself. Nobody's around. I forget who I was with, but I went back inside. I was like, I just met all the guys. Like I was just like, hey. They were like, hey, and they were like, yeah, okay, whatever, guy. And nobody believed me, but that absolutely 100% happened. Yeah, that is so funny.
Weezer's good too.
Weezer's awesome. I love Weezer. Okay, Steve Madden Slinky platform sandals.
Absolutely. I don't even have to look at them. I know exactly what you're talking about. I had them.
Steve Madden, huge part of the 90s. Also a great part of the Wolf of Wall Street. I like watching that now to go look back at the Steve Madden involvement there. Do you remember these gel pens? The Jelly Roll pens? That was a big thing. From the 90s. Oh my God. Okay. Every single female in my grammar school did MASH. You remember MASH?
Oh, I do remember this.
You would, I'm going to see if I can vaguely remember the swirly in the middle. You would do swirls and then you'd have to say stop. And then you would count how many lines there were. Yes. Like a tree trunk, you would count, which is why they wrote 9 there. And then I don't know. I don't remember how the rest of the game went.
I think you not draw. You write down boys' names.
You would write like 4 names, and then is that what it is? You would like count down the number.
How many names? How many lines there are? You write the names.
Yeah, it was something like that. I have to go back and look at that one, but I remember everybody playing that stupid game.
We got to play this in our group now. We should definitely.
We should definitely and see how it comes out. Which this to me is like an internet thing, and like this was like stuff like this was viral before internet viral became a thing. Like you would see it, or you'd go to a family event and your cousin would show it to you, and then you would take it to your school and you would do it, and then all those kids would go off next thing and they would show it to their cousins and sisters, and that's how things went viral back in the day.
I like it.
It was a lot slower back then.
Oof.
I remember this. I had a bunch of these. The Squiggle Writer. It had a battery in it.
I don't remember.
You don't remember this?
Did it vibrate?
It did vibrate. I think the high school kids used it for different reasons than the grammar school kids. But I had one of these. You used to put it was like a single AA battery on the top. You'd flick it on and it would have this weighted thing that would just swing around and it would just make the pen wiggle and you would draw wiggly lines.
My parents didn't love me enough to buy that.
Did they love you enough for a Crystal Princess doll?
No, still not loving me enough.
Mini things were a big thing in the 90s. Everything got shrunken into like mini size things.
Yes.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is that a
Oh, I
TV
like
show?
that. It was a book,
Oh, a book.
and then they turned it into TV shows.
The Talking Family Dollhouse. I don't really remember that.
No.
Hair twists. Did you have your hair like this, like Alicia?
For my prom, I did it. And Gaetano's prom.
Yeah, had the little like hair twisted down.
Yeah,
This is
you
a real
twist it
visual
back.
episode for those that are watching. I
Yeah,
mean, for
really.
those that are listening. Number 20 on the Pop Sugar list of 375 things from the 90s, Donna Martin and Brenda Walsh.
Yes, I used to love that show. I mean, I still do.
Give me a rank of 90s. Like, if you could choose only one show between Saved by the Bell and 90210, which would you choose?
90210.
Wow. See? I got to go the other way. I'm on a Saved by the Bell. I never really
Really?
got into 90210 ever.
Zack Attack.
Yeah. It was all about that. 90210 was, I feel like, too adult for us at the time.
Not for me, fam.
You're far more mature than I am, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, this was on at like prime time, right? 90210 was like a prime time show,
I
whereas
believe it was on at 8 p.m.
at 8 p.m. Yeah, whereas what was the other one that they spun off of?
Melrose Place.
Melrose Place.
That was another good one.
Was that a good show?
I used to love that one too.
I never watched. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Melrose Place. I saw 90210. I watched 90210, and I never
Got into it?
I had a couple of people, had like 2 or 3 girls try and get me into it, and one guy tried to get me into it. I'll never forget when the guy was like, "Oh, you got to watch the show; it's really good." I'm like, "Are you for real?" Like, I thought this was for girls. He's like,
No,
"No,
it's really not though. Gaetano and I used to watch it together.
I didn't know," because every time a girl tried to get me to watch it, I just assumed it was like for girls. I only knew girls who liked it.
No, I think guys too.
DuckTales.
I do remember that, yes. DuckTales. Woo!
Skorts. Is that a
Oh,
skirt
yeah.
short?
Yes.
I don't really remember.
I definitely had a pair of those.
You had those?
Real sexy.
Totally Hair Barbie. Oh, this one, I think everybody. This is one that survived the 90s and still goes
It's true.
to this day. Where's Waldo?
I do remember that too.
Still a big deal. A lot of visuals in the 90s. We had Where's Waldo, and then we had those squiggly line printed things that you have to cross your eyes to see what the hidden image was. And you remember those?
I don't.
You don't remember those? I'm sure it's on this list. I
Fam,
forget.
I was too busy watching 90210.
I forget what they were called, but that was a big thing. They used to have those in the mall all the time at those stores, like in frames and shit. They have platform sandals on here. I'm just going to show this photo because look at Madonna and what's her name, and Rosie O'Donnell. They were like best
Oh, God.
friends.
That's right.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was like the uncool funny girl got to be friends with a popular singer, and it gave all the uncool
Right.
funny people hope. TLC, big deal. I miss the days when you used to be able to wear a condom over your left eye, and that was
Exactly.
a fashion statement.
Left eye.
Yeah, those are good days. Okay, here's a game that I actually dominated at. Mall Madness.
Mall Madness. All right.
I had a female
Now,
cousin.
why
She
did-
was
Okay.
my age. She was a year older than me. She had Mall Madness. I didn't get to choose the game we got to play because, again, female cousin, year older than me. So we basically did whatever she wanted to do. And not
she
that
won.
and not that I was good from the get go. I just, she trained me to be good. Wow, this one I remember. This is a really good one. Tupperware stencils. Do you remember those?
Like, you would just stencil stuff.
It was just plastic stencils. Yeah, I don't know what they call them.
Yes, I do
Tupperware
remember
stencils.
that. Okay.
I had a bunch of those.
Me too.
I do not remember the Amanda Show.
Yes. Amanda Bynes, right?
Is that Amanda Bynes?
I believe so.
Do not remember that. Barbie cut and style head. It was just a Barbie head. Oh, this I remember. Sticky hands.
Yeah. Oh, God.
This was a 90s thing. We had vaulted ceilings at my old house in Howard Beach.
So you just stick them up there?
And it was like a popcorn ceiling. So like I would throw it up there and it would take down like half the ceiling when it came down. My father used to get so pissed at me.
Oh.
And now
Nick used to do that with ham.
And now I'm paying for all of those sins with my own children. Sure. Number 32, Full House.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
How rude.
Friday night, right? TGIF.
There you go. That's all you need.
Was there anything
that Family Matters.
Yeah. Was there anything better in life? I mean, and Step by Step.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Nirvana's number 33. Which to me, this is the juxtaposition of the 90s. I feel like there was that time where I was so into like Full House and stuff, and then so into Nirvana.
Okay, yes.
And then that was it. I lost control of the 90s because all the boys band came in, and then I was like, oh, this.
Oh, man.
The first half of the 90s were so different than the latter half of the 90s.
This is true.
Right? Like 95, 96, like shit just changed dramatically.
It did. I discovered boys.
Yeah, well, that'll do it. I blame Kurt Cobain. I feel like if he stuck with us, everything would have been just fine.
It's true.
But he went, and then we got stuck with Genie in a Bottle. All right, Easy Bake Oven.
My mother never let me have that.
Easy Bake Oven's been around since the 60s, though, so that's not really...
Oh, really? 60s? Okay, then. No.
Easy Bake Oven is a pretty old thing, I'm pretty sure. Bunnicula? I don't remember this book. You remember that book? The Bunnicula book?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. The Bunnicula series by James Howe. Magic Nursery Dolls, Ask Xandar, the game. Don't remember that. Whitney Houston, The Pretenders, Home Improvement. Fantastic show.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun, dun.
Home Improvement, I think, got me into like that like gag humor, which like Wilson not being able to see his face, and then
that's true.
Always calling that back and always coming up with new ways to do it. Supermarket Sweep.
I do remember that.
I used to watch the hell out of that. Yeah, that's how I learned that turkeys are the most expensive thing in a supermarket. Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
The movie.
Good one.
98 Degrees, Free Willy. I feel like this was massive for a long time.
Oh, yeah, those stupid trolls.
The troll dolls, right?
You would flip the hair up like this, make it stand up.
Why were troll dolls cool at all? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
This is what makes me angry when 30-year-olds today go, I don't get fidget spinners. They're so dumb. You look at them and go, you had troll dolls. Like, how are you any better?
Yeah, right. Shut up, kid.
Yeah, just keep your mouth shut. Hanson.
Oh, yeah.
There was a Brady Bunch movie that came out. Do you remember the Brady Bunch movie in the 90s? It was so cheesy. And then I watched the Brady Bunch movie, and then I heard Hanson on the radio, and I was like, are they playing Brady Bunch, like, singing?
Oh,
like,
no.
I confused Hanson for the Brady Bunch singers. And I could never shake that. Got a comeback happening. Friends comeback on HBO Max is heading our way. The Rachel haircut, did you have it?
I did not have it. But I had the Brenda, not Brenda, what's her name? Kelly haircut.
Kelly.
Really short and blonde.
From 90210?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I don't get that reference.
Exactly.
Silly Putty was a thing in the 90s, but I feel like Silly Putty was older than that. The Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have the Game Boy?
Nick had it.
Yeah.
So I used to steal it.
Game Boy was a thing too that like it ran through my family like a virus. Like my father was playing it, my uncles were playing it. Like especially early on when we had Tetris. So like when we only had Tetris, like everybody was trying to beat everybody's score. That whole thing.
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a Game Boy game.
That was Sega. That was Game Gear.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that was like so much better than Game because it had a color screen.
Yeah.
It was the big blue wide thing. Yeah, that was cool. This is early 90s, the fuzzy stickers.
Mm,
You remember
yes.
fuzzy stickers? I can remember those. Do you remember Gushers, the candy?
Yes, they're so good.
Yeah, that was crack to a kid back then.
God.
They have Jared Leto down here as number 53.
Oh yeah.
What was it? What was that show? My So-Called Life?
There you go.
What was his name? Jordan Catalano.
I guess you watched it more than me.
I watched My So-Called Life because that was MTV and that was it. Like I just towards that 96, 97 era, I was just all into MTV. What else was there as a kid?
Nothing.
You couldn't watch anything else. Spice Girls, Puffalumps, Joey Lawrence.
Okay.
Joey Lawrence was like one of the last like manufactured stars of the 90s where it was like he was like totally fabricated and forced upon us and
Definitely.
catchphrases. I actually bought Joey Lawrence's album. I had it on cassette tape. Don't tell anybody.
Oh my God. Sam.
Used to love the song My Girl. I don't know if that's surfaced online, but it's awful. This is a painful admission.
Oh, God.
Super embarrassing. Little Miss Mermaid, Rescuers, Down Under, Mini View cameras.
No.
I remember those. They have Operation down here. Okay, this I feel like defined the 90s. The Tamagotchi.
Oh yeah. You know what? I never had one.
Are you for real? You didn't?
I never got into that. My friend had one, and then Nick used to always try to kill it. I remember that.
I would have lost money on this. I would have bet for sure you had one.
Never had one. I never wanted one. I don't know why.
For those youngins who are listening, Tamagotchi was this little keychain-like thing, and it would had a computer in it, and it would be like a baby, right? It was like a baby that you had to take care of.
Feed it. Yep.
You had to feed it. You had to give it naps, all kinds of shit, like take it for walks or something crazy, whatever it was. And you would basically hold it with you all day long, and you had to like just keep this stupid thing alive.
Maybe I ain't had time for that.
It's so stupid. It was.
I know it's so stupid.
But I feel like this was like the first app. Like this was like because this would have been a game today, like The Sims or some shit like that. And this was the first time you could take. The difference was you could take this with you,
and that had to be this huge thing.
Yeah. Whereas before that, it was only a Game Boy or something. You know, you played Nintendo. It was all stationary. This you actually took with you, and it took up time in your day that you had to like monitor after this fake virtual baby that you were raising.
God.
Mambo number 5 from Lou Bega. I remember that.
Oh.
Silly Feet Crazy Laces. You remember the crazy shoelaces? They were squiggly. They were like all...
No, I don't.
That was a little thing early on. I can remember that. Guess Who? Again, that was older than the 90s, I believe.
That's a good one.
Delia's catalog.
Oh my God. Yes. I used to go crazy. I used to go crazy.
Was this Young Janine porn? The Delia's catalog. Get that. Get some earrings. Get some shorts. What did they have? Was it just earrings and accessories, Delia's?
No, they had clothes too.
It was clothes too?
Mm-hmm.
Sheryl Crow. Did you read this book?
No.
You didn't? I did.
It was good?
Messed me up. The Giver.
Oh, man.
They made a
now
movie out of it.
it.
Yeah, they made a movie out of it. It was atrocious, but yeah, it was this like weird society where all the kids, you would have a kid. It was this futuristic society, and if you had a kid, all the kids' birthday. We just talked about this on like a podcast like a day ago. All the kids would celebrate their birthday one day of the year. That was it.
Oh.
So it didn't matter what day you were born, you changed ages on this same day, and everybody in society had their own jobs. And this one kid who the book tells the story through, his job was to be the memory guy. He was to remember all of the history of these people, and that was who the old guy was, and that was the giver. He was like giving him all the memories and shit.
Oh, now I have to read that.
Yeah, it was a messed up thing. I don't think it really should be for like 12-year-olds to read because it really kind of, but maybe it should. Who knows? Beverly Hills 90210 comes in at number 69. That's interesting that Brenda got her own category there. Brenda and the other one. Barbie bedding.
Mm-hmm.
Darkwing
Definitely
Duck.
had that.
I loved Darkwing Duck.
Maybe Nick used to watch that.
Yeah, that was an early 90s thing with Launchpad McQuack. Manic Panic Hair Dye. I don't remember that.
Yes,
You
I do
had that?
remember that. Yes.
Cotton Candy Pink Colors. Okay. Skechers Wompers.
Do they have a picture of them?
They just look like regular shoes to me. I don't know. I don't see anything special about it.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Crayola washable markers. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
This also changed the 90s too in a drastic way.
Oh, yes. Silly Blonde is my name.
What was your name? Silly Blonde?
But spelled SYLIBLOND.
Let's spend a couple of minutes on AOL Instant Messenger here. Let's talk about this.
Oh, yeah. ASL.
What was your, okay, before we get to ASL, what was the location of the computer in your house? Let's talk about this, kids. There used to be a time where we had an entire room or corner of a room dedicated to the computer.
I think first it was right on the dining room table. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, no, actually, you're right. All the computers started in the middle because it was like, we got to get this set up. We got to figure this out.
Exactly.
And it was all, yeah. And then it stayed there for like half a year until you're like, okay, we got to put this in the other room. Yeah.
And then it went to Nick's room, of course.
Okay.
And then I got my own. But I remember being on AIM in the middle of the night, my father getting up. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he just grabs the plug and just pulls it out. Son of a bitch. Whatever he said. So that goes dial up, kids.
Yeah.
But I used to love Messenger.
Well, it first started with just AOL before
Right.
Messenger broke out into its own
Oh, yeah.
thing. And we used to have to dial up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember,
Beep, 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 beep,
yeah,
beep.
I remember it was an activity. You were like, okay, oh, it's like 7:30. I'm going to go online,
Yes, exactly.
which is such a weird juxtaposition to today because we're online all the
All
time.
the time.
And then it was like, oh, I'm going to go online. And I can remember going to visit my cousin in North Carolina, summer that this was starting to pop. And I remember him, and this was when you had to pay per hour, I think, to be online. I think it used to cost like $3.95 an hour or something. And I remember him saying that he used to write emails offline, save them. That was like a feature in AOL. He used to write emails offline, save
Yes.
them, go online then and send them so you weren't chewing up all your time writing. So
I did that too.
You could just get online and start surfing the World Wide Web.
Go into chat rooms. Oh, God.
So, and I can also remember we used to have to pull down the menu and
Yes.
choose what number you were going to call. Because for whatever reason, there was
Call a
like
number.
17 phone numbers, right? And do you remember the days when you couldn't get on? Because I remember that, like, you would just call and you, all right, let me go to this number then. Let me try this number. And you would just change from one number to the next.
Oh, life.
It would be
Did
hours.
you?
And then
We went from that to this.
it's crazy. And then you used to have your friends, your buddy list
That's right.
would be up. And I remember, like, you used to come online and you used to be so excited to see somebody online, and then they would leave like instantly, and you wouldn't.
It's true.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Like that. He used to do.
Be
sneak
careful!
in
He's
and
gonna
do that.
yank. He's gonna yank your phone.
Oh. Well, on that note,
We gotta end it right there.
we're gonna end it right there.
All right, we should pick up on our AOL conversation for days.
I'm down for that because I have some good ones.
All right, Janine, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay, let's go talk about Cyber 6 next time.
Next episode, cyber sex for
That's
sure.
what it used to be called. Now it's called sexting.
All right, Jay
Oh,
Sabs.
God.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it as always.
Bye.
All right, there she goes, Jay Sabs. Yeah, I remember there's so much about this time that I totally remember. The whole I remember dialing to get on and not being able to get on. And then a friend of mine told me one day, he's like, I was dialing to get on. He's like, as soon as I got on, I saw that you got off. He's like, and I felt like I took your spot in line because there was a capacity back then to these rooms. You could only be on, there was only so many, connections that you could make. So that's why there were so many different phone numbers. They would keep adding phone numbers. Oh my God. And you would just sit there and the modem would make noise and you'd be like, oh, please, I hope I get on. I hope I get on. And then you would get on and then you would just do the stupidest stuff. You would just, there was information and there was like things to look up sometimes, but most of the time you just looked at the dumbest things on the internet. And that those early internet days, they were so rudimentary. So rudimentary. And then eventually AOL, because they had Instant Messenger, they spun off Instant Messenger into its own thing where you could have AIM on AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, and that would be on all the time. And you would keep your, like, that's when dial-up phased out. You would have your AOL Instant Messenger name. And that's sort of what the internet became after the first incarnation. Because after you would do dial-up and you would be able to look at things, once we got to being online all the time, you would have that AIM up, and then it became all about like chatting with your friends and doing that whole thing. Oh my God. And then the AIM away message. So you would have it on all the time, but you would put up this message for when you would go to class or you were going shopping. And so you would go on then and you would see who was on and who was away. And then you would go read everybody's away message to see what they were doing. When you look back at it now, it's the craziest shit ever, but we definitely did that. All right, we're going to leave it there. We're going to pick it up on AIM away messages next time we get together here on the Anthony on Air podcast. We might even pick up this list because we only made it to 75 and there's 300 other things from the 90s. Great list from popsugar.com. 375 memorable things that prove that you grew up in the 90s. Obviously, Jay Sams and I did that. So this is a fun little trip down memory lane today, and maybe we'll continue that on the next episode. Appreciate you guys. If you made it this far on the podcast, always, we are seeing the numbers go up and grow. So for telling your friends and passing along the podcast, we're definitely seeing some increases, which is awesome. Thank you so much for that. You guys can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You get links at anthonyonair.com, and we're on every single podcast network that's out there: Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, all the big networks. We're all over the place. So find us there and subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher. This way we just instantly download to your phone and you can catch up on episodes whenever you'd like. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you